folks, again, Creative Financing with JB. Another week, another exciting show we're going to have. Entrepreneur Month. We're just promoting. We're letting folks know what's going on out here. We're having a good time. We're letting you know that everybody's capable of having that business, having that plan, getting it out there, illustrated, so the folks can see, what they do. This week, I got Miss Charlene Paulin Coleman, fashion designer. Somebody out there want to learn how to get right, some things, some creative ideas you might have had. We're gonna get into it and just get some information there, because guess what? Charlene took the time to develop her business, go out here, make it productive, and guess what? They have fun. So we're just at it again, another resource. So Charlene, welcome. Thank you so much for attending today.
Thank you for your request. I
Yeah,
humbly accept.
yeah. And we just want you to tell us a little bit about your entrepreneur journey. Where'd you come from, what you used to do, a little bit about
Well, I am originally from New York,
you. Okay, New York in
and
the house.
I was I was raised in the Bronx.
Right.
I was raised in the Bronx, and like 17, 18, I left and went to Brooklyn. So I was living out there for a while, and I was like, man, why couldn't I have been born out here? And then so my background, my mom, it was born in the UK. My nanny, my grandmother, she was born in Jamaica. So I have those roots. So I'm Afro-Caribbean, Latina, kind of thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I've been living out here for the past 5 or 6 years with my husband.
Mm-hmm.
We met at a vet center, and we got together after a while after I went through some things and
Mm-hmm.
taught people. Um, so let me see. The first thing that I did was an entrepreneur. Oh, you know what it is? I think like 2015, I
Mm-hmm.
went to uh I went to Mood Fabrics,
Okay.
and this is how everything started. I went to Mood Fabrics, and they
Mm-hmm.
had they had a illustration class, and
Mm-hmm.
there, but the thing I didn't know was you have to pay for the items that you need for the class, although the
Right.
class is free. So I
Mm-hmm.
bought some markers for $50. There's 24 of them. And I'm like, $50? Why do you $50? But it comes with marker pieces at both ends. It comes with a tip. It comes with the thicker part, right? The wider part. And it
Mm-hmm.
comes with a what do they call it? A mixer or something where you can mix the colors with. It comes like a clear white tip, and it has like a
Mm-hmm.
clear top so that you'll know which one is which. So I was there, and we had a sketchbook that we had to purchase. So when I'm there like, man, you know what? Let me try to make a dress or something. So I made a little girl's dress, and the instructor, I was like, hey, I'm gonna make this a pattern. I had no idea how, but I said I'm gonna make this into a pattern, and he was like, okay, it looks nice. So then I started sketching on paper, and I was like, well, I'm not sketching out too good. He said, well, do it on the book. But the book has like a dotted outline that you
Mm-hmm.
can use to crochet. I'm about to say crochet. Oh gosh, that you can sketch things on, and it'll come
Mm-hmm.
out a certain way because the outline. So I said, okay, I'll do that. So um, I think later that week, and when I was in Queens, uh, there was this guy, my husband's friend. I told him, he said, hey, how you doing? I'm like, yeah, I was sewing, trying to make a pattern. You are? Oh, I know somebody that can make the pattern for you. I said, you do? He said, yeah. So it's only like $25. Okay, cool. So I gave him the money, and it was, and it's like a lot of people say, not to cut it short, but a lot of people like to say, oh, don't go to New York because they're gonna cheat you, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. And I'm from New York, so I just act like I'm not from there. So
Right,
I
right.
gave him the money. So I gave him the money. I gave him my paper. And I'm like, well, all I can do is hope he is going to do this for me and not spend the money off. So when he came back, I said, man, okay. So when he came back, he's like, "Oh, okay, the guy got it. He's gonna." And I gave him the paper. It was a paper with a design and a sketch on it that I made. It was
Mhm.
colored in, and it was sketched front and back of the dress, so you could see the how the dress looks front and back. So it was
Mhm.
for a 2-year-old girl. So next thing I know, he says, "Hey, I'm gonna pick it up for you." So he picked it up and brought it to me. I was like, "Man, he was telling the truth." So he made the pattern for me. So now I have two actually from him. No, three. I have a gown, I have a dress, and little girl's dress. So I have three things from him that I had. So um that's the beginning of the pattern making. And I had him do it just those three times. And now I do it myself.
Mm.
Now I
So,
do the pattern making myself.
oh wow, that's amazing. So you
Yeah,
started off learning to get out there.
right.
What made you go into entrepreneurship? I mean, you can go out here and
Well,
probably work in corporate America. You probably
you're
can do a lot
right.
of things. What
Hmm.
makes entrepreneurship so much important to you?
Well, my dad, when we were growing up, being my two brothers, he would tell us, make sure you get your own business, and do something good with your life and do something productive. And he even like he would buy us toys, and we go to KB toy store. Oh, daddy, I want this. Oh, get something that's educational, something that you can learn from. So he was a hands-on kind of dad. He was about just um not politics. I'm looking for the word. He was about like just things that matter. I can't remember the word right now, but he was about things that made sense. He was practical. He's a practical dad, I can
Hmm.
say. So did I answer your question?
Yeah, yeah. So that's perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
so
So
kind
and
of,
then
kind of.
and then so before I met my husband, I was praying. I was in the kitchen and I said, Lord, I wanna be with somebody to know about business. And I had no idea. He knew all about it. When we even before we got together, I was calling him and he's like, "Hey, can you do this for me? You want me to do some paperwork for him?" I was like, paperwork. I look like a secretary. Yeah, I said, "Okay, I'll do it." So now we married 11 years and I'm still doing his paperwork.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so
Yeah.
we have you a fashion designer with strings and things.
Yeah.
Folks, we met. I met Charlene at the SBA Small Business Association. They had it in Dover at DSU, and we came, and I just told myself, I said, we got a lot of entrepreneurs out here that we just got
Right.
to bring on and tell these success stories, because everybody deserves a chance to jump into that entrepreneurship
Right.
and really understand what it calls for. So when I met Miss Charlene, I called up and I said, hey, you went into fashion design, and you got to let us know a little bit about the stuff we're doing. So she developed, and her company is Strings and Things. Tell us a little bit about Strings and Things that you
Well,
have.
strings and things. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I first started showing in like 2014. That's the
Hmm.
same year I got married.
Hmm.
So I think like before I got married,
Hmm.
the day after marriage, I was actually I had no idea what I was doing yet.
Hmm.
I had some beautiful lace fabric. It was silver and white. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna get on this machine and make me a wedding dress right quick. I had no idea what I was doing. So I had this sundress that goes around me like a tube top kind of dress. So I wrapped that around me. Okay, that's what I gotta do. Then I took the fabric, wrapped it around me, took it off, pinned it together, and tried to sew it. And the only thing that came out right was the pocket. And I had no idea I made a pocket until I looked and said, "Oh man, I got a pocket." So I showed my husband. He said, "Man, I was thinking I gotta marry this woman. She in here trying to make a dress for her wedding, and she don't even know what she doing." So that's when I first got my toes wet in sewing, but I had no idea what I was doing. And
Hmm.
so Streets and Things came about because when I was in New York, way before we moved down here, there was another business I was supposed to be starting. It was supposed to be a baby's clothing business too, and it was
Mm.
called Kingspin. And I was praying one day, and the word came to me, and so I was like, "This is like a good name. Thank you." So then I
Mhm.
went to the place, checking stuff out, gave him some ideas that I wanted, but it never went through. And I would feel like, well, if I don't sense that it may work through, it may not, maybe it won't go through if I don't want it to. So it then never went through, and nothing ever happened. When we came down here, it's like everything just started falling into place. So I started Strings and Things in 2022. Before this time, like I'll say like 2009, I
Mhm.
started learning how to knit, I think it is.
Oh
And
wow.
then crochet, I think was a couple years before that. So I
Hmm.
taught myself how to crochet and knit.
Oh
And
wow.
that's why it's called Strings and Things because of the yarn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but also so it came about because um like I said, I was praying, then a scripture came to me and I was like, okay, this will go good with it. But I forgot the scripture. But
Hmm.
I was actually supposed to be making women's clothing. And I was like, I don't know how to do it, maybe in and out of style, whatever, but I'm gonna still try. So my dad says, hey, listen, why don't you make some babies clothing? I said, for what? I don't make no babies clothing. And I did, but I was more into like trying to help women. And
Hmm.
so he says, well, instead of, donating stuff, why don't you make it and make it into a business? I said, that's true. Because I was actually trying to get a 501c3. But
Hmm.
my husband said, oh, no. He said, you got to have some money to put down on it in order to get that. You got to be, getting in some donations and things like that. You got to go out and scout people, scout businesses to get, the money that you want to come into the business. And I said, well, I don't know nobody. so, so, so that's how we got started. And so, I went to, was that in Maryland or Delaware? I think it was in Delaware. They had a place there where you can do, get the, um, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm going blank. They had, I forgot what it's called. I forgot what they call it, but I went there to get a tax ID number and all that stuff.
Hmm.
So I got the business card, and then I went to this place called Minuteman here in Maryland, and they made up the logo for me.
Hmm.
So I had that, and so I went back to that place and got everything set up. You know what's the crazy thing?
Hmm.
I went to this place called I forgot what it's called. I'm gonna just tell you what it is anyway. It's
Right.
like a PC, a PC, I think it is. I think
Hmm.
it's a PC. So I went there and he says, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to have a 501c3, but I don't have any, thing concerning donations or anything. So then
Hmm.
he says, well, why don't you just have a tax ID number and then you'll just have the LLC and then you also have the tax writable on it. I said,
Hmm.
okay, that makes sense. Then he says, you want to pay now? You want to pay later? I said, I'll pay later. Not knowing I was going to have to pay extra because I let them do it for me instead of doing it myself. And my
Hmm.
dad is like, oh, you should do it yourself. And I said, how am I do? I can't do it by myself. Just go on LegalZoom, one of them things. And I said, yeah, but what am I supposed to do? So he says, yeah, it's free. And when I went up there, I said, you know what, let me just prove him wrong. So I went up there, put my information in, and I said, see, he asked me for $1,000. That thing ain't real. And it's real, but I ain't paying no $1,000 for it.
Right. 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 Right.
So yeah, that's how Strings and Things came about. And I had some name tags for Strings and Things, and I
Hmm.
couldn't find them for nothing. I went to Louisiana where my husband's from, and I said, oh my gosh, I don't have the name tags. I was making some baby stuff.
Hmm.
So when I came home, I found them, and I had
Hmm.
already ordered some more. So I have like 3 packages of name tags for the business because of that.
Wow, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
And folks,
And the first one, I loved that first one because it was so nice. And let me see if I can find it.
mhm.
Uh,
It's so ironic that
Uh-huh.
Charlene took the necessary steps that to gain the entrepreneurship
See?
that she needed. Oh, nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah. I got it from Amazon.
yeah, for to gain that, and we just telling our audience, some of the things that we do in entrepreneurship and
Uh-huh.
what it is. If you had to say, what was your biggest challenge in getting into
The
entrepreneurship?
hmm. uh we're trying to get a website because I don't have a website yet.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
it's a challenge. She's working on her website, she's developing herself, she's branding, but she
Well,
understands that going through these challenges, folks, is some things that we got to overcome,
yeah,
but we overcome those because we believe in what we're doing,
right.
so entrepreneurship is not the easiest. I tell folks all the time,
Right.
it's not the
Yeah,
easiest, but it's consistent. And if you want to really go out here and discover what your talents is or what you're going to do, you have to take that leap of faith, of
right.
what we're doing. So what made you name the business Strings and Things? Is it just because you was doing crocheting?
Well, I was thinking, I said, I was like, I don't know if I want to do King's Kid no more. So when I went to go get the business name, uh when I happened, I don't know, for some reason I just thought about the crochet, the knitting, the sewing. So
Mm-hmm,
I said, I gotta do something interesting. I said, I don't know what to put. So the idea of me crocheting and knitting and doing everything, so the things is the sewing, embroidery and everything. The
mm-hmm.
strings is the knitting and crocheting. And now I just taught myself how to Tunisian crochet.
Okay.
It's like partly, it's like crocheting and knitting in one,
Mm-hmm,
because the crochet hook is a short hook, not that short, maybe like 6 inches or so,
mm-hmm,
and it has a hook on it, and you use that to make the stitches, but the stitches are not done; they don't stay on the hook. But in knitting, they stay on the hook, and it's a long needle, and you have to use two needles. But then in Tunisian crochet, you don't need two needles; you just use your one hand, and you put the yarn on there, and that one, the handle is very long and there's a hook on it. So when I first saw it, I said, "This is interesting. This looks like an extra long crochet hook."
mm,
Yeah, so I love it though. I really love the Tunisian, because it's like I haven't even been like sewing lately. I've been
mm-hmm,
doing a Tunisian crochet, and I happened to just make a blanket for this pastor at church for her grandbaby.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah, I have. I just found out it was wool. I was like, why does it cost so much? Because it's wool, 100% wool,
mm-hmm.
chunky wool, and it feels nice.
So the question is, what is your clientele? Do you just do baby clothes? Do you do women clothes?
Yes. Well, I
Yeah.
can do women's clothing. I wouldn't. I want to make my own outfits, but I really was trying to donate. But I am going to donate. Uh, um, there's a place. There's a hospital in Louisiana where my mother-in-law stays with her husband. And so he went to a cancer appointment, and I happened to see a basket. And I said, "Oh, you guys got crochet hats here." She says, "Yeah, they're free." I said, "Oh no, I don't want it. I'll make them." So now I haven't done any yet recently, but when I was still down there, I crocheted some, and I put them in these sealable plastic bags, and I gave them to my mother-in-law. She brought them there. So whenever I get a chance to continue that, I'll do it. But I've been so focused on making baby stuff and doing different things. So also, I'll be making like baby clothing for like NICU and SICU units, baby,
Okay.
unit clinic, the baby units, like,
Mm-hmm,
and maybe like some hats, some little booties, just some simple things that the baby would need in the hospital, you know.
mm-hmm. That's nice. And
Mm.
we just tell Miss Roberts hello. She just joined our podcast as well. So
Hello.
How do you so do you go to the hospitals and just figure out, the need of
Oh no.
someone?
Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, when I first wanted to, I went to Harlem, and there was a hospital there that I wanted to donate to. This is years ago.
Mhm,
Um, and they said, well, you can just, call them and get their number, get the address. And then I was thinking they was not want this much because they ain't even saying anything. So never mind. So I just said to myself, I didn't say it to the person. But
mhm.
so I would look online, and also I put on Facebook. One of my cousins said that there's a place in Georgia where they have a baby unit there.
Mhm.
So I said, okay. I wasn't never able to send anything yet, but I had like this big box that I bought from the craft store, and I have some newborn. I have some newborn booties in it that I made.
Oh wow,
And
wow.
so also I have some hats that I just found because my husband says, well, you need to clean that up. You look like a storage unit. So I cleaned it up. Well, he helped me clean it up. I helped him. Um, but I found some preemie hats and some newborn hats. I was like, oh man, I can't believe it. I found them. I was looking for them a long time. Someone told me, they said, if you're ever looking for anything, don't look, just wait because you'll find it eventually. And that saying was so true. So now I'm
Mhm.
passing it on to you.
Yeah. So tell me this: is your business based on nonprofit, or are you for profit?
No, right, for profit,
For
but I
profit.
still donate.
You still donate. You donate, and that's a
Yeah,
great. We got to give back to the community,
right,
for and everything, because that's where our gift comes from when we start to
right,
increase and everything. When you
right,
start showing, but you picked a perfect place. The hospital,
right,
um the NIC unit for at the hospital for the babies and stuff, which is an awesome donation and a way to give back, and giving back. Yeah, like Chuck said, giving back is so important,
right,
especially
right,
business, to
right.
actually the business and think about that. What made you think about starting with the NIC unit and stuff like that?
Well,
Was
because in 2012 I was pregnant and I had an ectopic pregnancy,
Mhm,
and at first it was supposed to be like if like babies didn't make it and I would make a clothing for them to be buried in. That's where it started at. But then it went to thank you. But then
mhm,
it went to just regular SICU and NICU units.
mm,
And I had learned about that. I took up phlebotomy in 2000, what, 10, 11 or something like that.
mhm,
And
mhm,
then you learn about SICU and NICU units.
mhm.
So that's how I had the information. But then, so when I thought about it, I said, you know what? Yeah, let me do that. That would be good because
Yeah.
it would be so awesome to volunteer there and help with the babies. I've been thinking about that a lot sometimes. Man, it would be wonderful if I could just go to a NICU unit or a SICU unit and help them with the babies, and it would be awesome, I think. But
Mhm,
recently, I thought about when I make an order, I was going to say, well, if you buy something or do something for me, not do something for me, but if you buy something, if you order something, then I'll I'll contribute part of it of the proceeds to March of Dimes, and that's what I want to do.
oh wow. March of Dimes. That's good.
Uh-huh.
That's a good foundation to
Yeah.
give to, and go back and provide that service to it. So I take it that you go to the hospitals to market your business, or what kind
No.
of marketing do you do?
What kind of what?
Marketing.
Like how I went to this place, how I went, how where the place I met you at. Like I do things like that. My husband and I will go to like different events, and I'll hand out business cards. And so I this last hospital, I haven't called. I think I called them actually. I called them, and they said, "Well, we don't know, really too much about it." And I said, "That's okay, thank you." So that's the first hospital I physically went to. that had a place for donations, and I was shocked, but I was happy also.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, this is falling. It's like if you expect something to happen and you really put your all into it, it will fall into place for you, and that's what it's been doing for me.
Yeah, yeah. For and that's key to,
Hmm.
especially in entrepreneurship.
Right.
Um, one thing you'll learn is that um, it's a 24/7 job.
Yeah.
It's your vision coming out um, for it, and knowing that you could have did anything else, but you just had a
Right.
vision for this designing and sewing and
Right.
everything, which is a phenomenal thing. But it stands out to where I know sometimes you gotta be creative in it, uh,
Right.
and what you're doing and what you're
Hmm.
developing and
Right.
stuff. Um, you know, do you have a certain style of knitting or clothing that you're just doing for these for the
Well, no, I don't think so because on I have these what do you call them, postcards that I had made.
hmm
And on them, I had them put, nothing is sitting around collecting dust. Whether when you order something, it's being made right after you telling me what you want. I had no clothing sitting around. Everything is made couture meaning made custom made.
hmm
And whatever you want is what I make. So it's nothing
hmm
sitting around collecting dust or anything like that. Did I ask your question?
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like,
absolutely. Yeah,
okay,
for it. So, yeah, because we were trying to figure out, for it, and we're gonna have Tina come across the screen. So, and just in case somebody wants to reach out and y'all
right.
have something that y'all need for the youth that y'all can communicate with her and pass
This
that on.
one thing now,
Mhm.
it's only for newborn to 14.
Newborn to 14. So,
So that's
the market is
that's
baby.
the well, they asked when I went to that place where I met you at,
hmm
they asked me what the one of the challenges was, and that's what I should have said when you asked me that, because I said it that same day. I
hmm
said because I only do newborn to 14, so I'm not doing all the kid sizes, but that's
hmm
where I draw a line because it's easier to make those things if you don't have to worry about getting a whole bunch of fabric to, I mean,
hmm
because I've sewn regular things before, but and it's a lot of work. And
hmm
it's so simple to just swing it on the machine and turn it around and do all this stuff and it's done.
Right, right. So your
So
fence, which is a good market for we need that for our newborns, and I think
right.
it's a good industry for us. But you see, folks, y'all see it, strings and things at outlook.com. Reach out to Charlene. If you have anybody, you have a young infant up to 40, maybe something that you can ask to have custom made for her business to develop as she tries to expand. And where do you see, Charlene, your expansion going with your business? What's your
Well,
long-term
my
vision?
husband currently is looking for a place for his business. And
Mhm,
so the place he went to yesterday, was it today? Yesterday. I think today. I think it was today. Went to this place and it's a beautiful building. He said, I'm gonna call and meet the guy. And I was thinking, okay, he's just stopping right here right quick. Then he says, oh, this is the building. I said, really? So he starts putting it on me. He's saying, maybe you can use this for your business. I'm like, really? So then
mhm,
and then I said, why don't we do it for both our business? He said, no, I think it's good just for yours. So then the guy comes, he goes inside, and we comes out. He's like, yeah, that place is nice. He said, it's big enough for me and you. But I think I answered the question. I think I did, and I'm sorry.
so what's your vision for the business of where it's going to
Oh,
go?
my vision. Well, my husband's. We watched Shark Tank one day, right?
hmm
So this woman came on and she had a business that she created and they wanted to give her $1 million. And she said, well, no, I don't feel like selling my business. It's my baby and blah, 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 and all this stuff. So my husband turns to me and says, "Don't you do anything stupid like that. They want to buy your business, you sell it." So ultimately, if it comes to that, if someone says, "Hey, I want to buy your business," I'll sell it. You
Mm.
know. Um, but but I do enjoy the business, and so I see it going like, well, actually, you know what? Everything gets done at my house in my sewing room. So I
Mm-hmm,
don't
mm-hmm.
have like a factory or any other thing or things like that. And also when I put in the postcards is that the stuff is not made in China. It's made in my sewing room. Like how a lot of baby clothes are made in China, and they have
Mm-hmm.
all these, and I use organic fabric. So
Tell me,
that's one of the things too. Huh?
tell us about organic fabric. W-
Well, organic fabric for babies, there's no dyes that'll seep into their body. In the working areas that it's made in, they put all these different dyes and different things onto the thread. So when they make the clothing is not really fit for a baby, but they're making babies' clothing there.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I make babies clothing, I have organic fabric, so I use organic fabric. But then the husband says, well, what if somebody would want a regular thing? That's where I could do that too, but I really don't want to. But somebody might say, oh, it's just too much for me. I can't do it. Yeah. So I
What,
see it expanding one
yeah.
day.
What do you what made you go to the organic fabric? It was something that inspired
Because
you.
I was online and I saw the information. I was like, man, this is interesting. I didn't know this. And I think at that time I was in a business class. And so uh I learned about something from there. And then I happened to look it up and I happened to see the organic fabric and I saw that it's good for baby clothing and that it doesn't have dyes and all that different stuff in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah. So
which is good to
right.
help that, as you were saying that, the dyes can run off into
Hmm.
folks for it. So organic fiber. The next question, we have a lot of baby stores out here. I can't even think of the name of them right now. What sets you apart, you think, from those other stores?
Because a lot of those stores make their stuff in the Chinese factories. A lot of them are not U.S. made. A lot of them are made in China. A lot of them are made in India. Not that it's a bad thing. It is a bad thing. I'm not gonna say it's not. It is a bad thing, but it's cheap labor. I don't do cheap labor. I make them myself. Like there's no third party. It's just me and that's it. You
Mm-hmm.
know. But a lot of baby clothing stores are not selling organic fabric. I mean organic babies clothing. Not a lot. Maybe some, a handful probably, but not
Mm-hmm.
that many. So what sets me apart is that in that I'm not only making it for business, I'm giving it as donation. Some of the things I make, like booties and hats, like I said, maybe a sweater or something like that. I actually have a promotion going on. Uh, I was trying to do 30 babies, then I realized that was kind of like over the top. I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to promote the business, so I said, okay, I'm gonna do five babies. So I have five babies. I'm gonna make them something. And one of the things is done. The blanket, like I said, I had the blanket sitting here. It's really thick and really big. And I used 8 balls of yarn to make it. So I'm trying to, get it out there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
So you
yeah.
crochet and stuff. How long does it take you to, if I came and said, "Hey, Charlene, I want like a knitted jacket or something for my baby or something like that." What's the time frame on that or the turnaround time?
Well, it depends on the size of the baby. And you said a crochet jacket?
Yeah, like
It, it
so.
depends.
Go
It
ahead.
depends on the size of the baby and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But normally, what would a time frame? A couple of weeks, 3 weeks?
Well, Well, I'm laughing because I've never made a baby jacket before.
Boy,
As a matter of fact, I'm lying. I'm lying. My cousin, she have a son now. He's like 10, 11. But when he was a baby, I was making this pattern, and I was making a something, and it was a peacoat for a baby. I said, "Oh my gosh, this is the cutest thing."
mm-hmm.
So that took me maybe a day or two, and he was what, a couple months old. So I think it also depends on how often I'm doing it, and uh, things like that.
For
I
the
mean,
stuff.
but I'm not saying that I wouldn't be able to do the jacket. I've just never have done it besides making that peacoat.
Mm, for it and stuff. So
Yeah,
you specialize like in booties and
yeah.
what
Booties, blankets, hats, sweaters, pants.
for it and stuff. Do you even go to like children's hospital and donate there as well? Some of these items.
Not, I was thinking about it, but I haven't as yet.
Okay.
I wanted to keep it simple, like just make something that I can make real quick and make a whole bunch of it and donate it. Like I didn't
Donate.
want to get too far deep into blankets and stuff. That would take up a lot more time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I had booties, maybe a sweater or something. And I was also thinking of giving like a burp cloth or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Explain that a little bit.
The
You
burp
said
cloth?
uh, you said a burp call off or
Yeah, burp cloth.
oh okay,
The
okay,
the
I got
cloth the cloth that you put on your shoulder when you have the baby and the baby spits up or whatever the case is.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
Right.
Nice, nice for the stuff. So you do quite a bit of donations, I take it, and
Well, I haven't yet.
you haven't yet. You haven't.
Aside from the hats that I sent to it was a hospital for women that had cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So I made the hats for them, and I'm gonna make some more. So as far as that, I haven't made any donations as yet, except for doing that because I had so many times that I wanted to do it, but then like things would come up or life crises would come up, and I had to stop and I had to, regroup and stuff like that. Because when I first wanted to do it, I was in New York and I looked it up online, and I was gonna send something to them, like a letter or something stating that I wanted to just to give them some stuff, but it never happened. Some things started happening, and it's like when you start to want to do something, sometimes life happens,
Right.
So I would like to do it, and I think I'm actually gonna get into it because when you have a time to do something and you think it's the best time, take action because it'll come through.
Take
So
action, and
I'll be doing it very soon.
oh, that's good. That's good for
Yeah,
to reach out and what makes you feel so? It seems like you're really into that business
I
for the
am. I have the passion.
yeah, for them toddlers and
Yeah,
seeing and going through that whole scenario,
right.
you know, it's amazing because that's a
Oh,
good
you know,
strategy.
as a matter of fact, this young lady, where she had a son and daughter, she went to my church, and I told her, "Hey, I want to make your son something." And at that time, he was going on 2. He's gonna be 2. He was still little. So then, after that, I found out his sister was 4 years old. So I said, well, I can make her something too. So I ended up making her more stuff than him because I was making some jean pants. Um, but I'm making some jeans pants. Then she said they were a little too big. So I took his measurement. And usually what happens is, I have to take the measurements or I have to have them take the measurements. And so what I did was for his sister, I didn't have her measurement. So I looked up online about the average size for a 4-year-old girl, and I'll take between that and whatever size up or down. And I use those measurements to say, okay, well, I'm going to do this, and I'll add another inch or so depending on how it looks and how I think it might fit. So she's not really big like that. She's real skinny. So when her mom sent me a picture of this stuff, I was
Mm,
like, oh my gosh, these things are big on her. But she loved them. She loved them. I made her 4 dresses. And I took pictures of them on the mannequin, on the children's mannequin, and and excuse me.
mhm.
Oh, I had nothing to drink. I'm getting thirsty.
And stuff.
um,
So tell us that those dresses. How long did that take you to make?
mm,
For the
well, mm, it took a while actually
mm,
because at first I made the patterns. It took a while to make. The issue with the pattern making is that sometimes you got to scrap it and start over because it's not coming out right. So that's mainly the challenge with the fabric, making the patterns. But you're just making it off your head. You're not looking at a book or looking at anything, making it. You're going off your head what you want to do. So I would say on average, it depends on how you're making it. Because I was cutting out everything all at once. Then I was pressing everything all at once. Then I was pinning everything all at once. But then when I came from Louisiana and came back up here, I said, you know what? Let me just work on one thing and they go fast like that. So if I was doing it every day, it probably would have took me a few days and not just the several days that it took because I was doing everything all at once.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So I washed the fabric, pressed the fabric, and so I was putting together the dress pieces, the sleeves, the bodice, the skirt part, and the zipper and things like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do you do your own patterns as well? So after
Yes.
measurement, okay. So
Yeah.
tell us the process for that. I mean, so you
Of
go do your
pattern making?
yeah, of do you do the measurements on the children and then you come back and make the patterns, or how does that work?
No. Um, what I okay, like with my friend with her son and stuff, because
Mm,
he was physically around me, I was able to take his measurements. But then she said everything was big on him, so I said, "Wow, okay." And I would rather it be big than be too small, you know.
mhm, mhm.
So, I'm sorry. What was the question again? I
So
think
so
I
where
messed it up.
so when you do your patterns, do you do your measurements first and then
Yeah, so yes, measurements first. So what I'm going to do now, I was talking to my husband about it. Um, Getting a paper and putting down all of the required measurements that I need to get from the parent for their
mhm.
baby and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I I'm sorry, what's the question again?
Yeah, so you developing those patterns is based on the measurements that you get from uh,
Right. Yes, yes. And it's custom. It's just couture. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I looked up online. I was like, you know what? Let me look up and see what couture is. So they say couture is custom made and ready to wear is like 14, 15, 16, 17, like different sizes. So I do couture. But as far as the sizing, I'm going to get the paper, type it up, or let them do it, Minuteman, um, so that you can put down the measurements. Like you can do it yourself and email it to me or text it to me or whatever. If you take a picture of it, or if you need help, and I can do uh, like a video thing where I can show you how to make the measurements and things like that. So
mhm.
it will be easier and that's what makes it take longer too, because I have to go online and look for measurement and say, okay, well, this is what I want to make. Let me get the measurement. If I could have measurements, it would make everything so much easier. But it's challenging. Everything there is a challenge, but you have to find a way to get through that challenge.
Absolutely, absolutely. Entrepreneur, Entrepreneurship is not the easiest.
No,
That,
especially clothing.
mhm, clothing and stuff. Out of all the things you could have done, what made you choose clothing as a fabric designer?
Well, when I was in college, actually, I was thinking of becoming a clinical psychologist,
Mm.
and but I didn't stay that long. I only stayed 2 months. So I
Everybody
could have been doing that.
could.
Yeah, I could have been doing that, but it fell through. So after that, I wasn't really doing much or nothing. But then, so I joined the military, and while I was there, I got some inspiration. But the department I was in, they would like drive the ship, and they would um, do the watches, and to check out for enemy ships and enemy, um, they would also um, to draw up the anchor, drop the anchor. So I got like some inspiration because they had an embroidery machine and they were embroidering the names on the back of the hat. And I
Mm,
was like, man, I want to do that. And that's how I got interested. But I'm gonna tell you one thing. When I
mm,
was a little girl, my first godmother, she sorry, I got the plastic in the way.
yeah.
She sold me some stuff and I was so into it. And I was thinking, man, I wish I knew how to sell. I never said anything to anybody about it. And then so let me see. What am I thinking about? And then so it's something I'm thinking about, but I can't remember. Um hmm, what thinking about? So okay, yeah, here we go, here we go. So I was a teenager, like late years later, I went to a dollar store and I got a little tiny sewing machine. So I had
Mm-hmm.
no idea about the pieces or anything. So I don't know. It could have been a bobbin or a piece of thread or something that fell out, but that fell out, and I just said, you know what, let me just throw this away. And I had the passion, I had the want, but I just didn't have the knowledge yet. And I asked
Mm,
this woman, she was on Project Runway, the last season before the one that's going on now. And I
mm.
asked her, I said, well, does it matter if you have passion or does it matter for you to have experience? And she said, well, experience is good and everything, but passion is really good too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you got to think of anything you can do and you love to do without even focusing on the money. Not that we don't need money.
Right.
It is really what your calling is, and you got to identify that. And
Yeah.
so what would you tell somebody's out here probably listening to us, and they're talking about, man, I want to get in entrepreneurship. What advice would you give them?
Well, honestly, I'm going to say before I started doing it, I prayed.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always prayed in high school and everything. I prayed before I took a test, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So and then it's like every time I go to the sewing room, I go up there and I pray before I do anything. So besides me having experience, I'm following what God is telling me to do. You put in thoughts, oh, do this, do that, and I'm like, oh, God, thank you. So I would say pray. I would say pray and get an answer like that, and then really think about it. Brainstorm, write down some things you want to do, write down what you like. A lot of people out here are doing what they love to do, and they're
Mm-hmm.
doing it for, but they're doing it for someone else. And that's the thing, especially like in singing, you have to back up singers that are singing, and they're singing with these people, but then they have good voices too. Then
Right.
they finally decide to come out and shine them by themselves. So it's
Right.
like that. You just gotta come out from behind whoever it is you're behind. Don't be afraid. And at first, I didn't know how it was gonna turn out. I had no idea. I was moving to Delaware. I had no idea I was gonna have a business down here. But
Mm,
we came to that house and I laid my hands on the wall in that sewing room. In that room, it had spotlights and everything. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be my sewing room. And then they said, well, there's another person that wants to see it, but we got you guys. And it worked through. It didn't fall through or anything. So now up there, I got my sewing room. Just
mm.
I all I say is just pray, really think about it. Really think about it. Just really think about it. That's all.
So after you prayed and you got the vision,
Hmm.
what was your next step that you can share with them, to go out and
The
do?
next step was to okay, so I'm gonna tell you. One day, I think it's 2020. I think it was 2014. And sometimes I would get up early in the morning, I would pray, and then I would go online and buy something. So one day I got this thought, get up and buy a sewing machine. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go to Wayfair. I'm gonna get me an embroidery. Not embroidery. I'm gonna get me a computerized sewing machine. So what I did was, before I did that, I went and I did some research. Research is good. So what I did was I researched different kind of machines, what they do, what the pieces mean, and that's how I started. I did research. First, you want to plot down what you're going to do before you do it, because you have it down. And in case you forget a step, you look at the paper that you wrote down. So
Mm-hmm.
that will say that too. So that's what I did. I used that paper and I went online and I chose the one I wanted based on the research I did. So now, besides that machine, I threw the machine out because it, got old and stuff. But now I have like one machine in Louisiana. I got like two machines up here, three sergers, two embroidery machines, and a heat press and everything all in the room. So I would say, if you feel like you don't know where to start, just think, just ask around, ask people, ask your family. But
Mm-hmm.
I tell them, what do you think I should do? And so I asked my dad, I was like, what do you think I should do? And I think you should sell the stuff. I was like, okay. And he says, and you can still donate, but you can sell stuff too. Because at first I wasn't going to sell nothing.
Right, 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 right. And that's what I tell
Mm.
folks. Everybody can have the vision. Everybody has a dream. You heard it here tonight, folks. Charlene had a dream. She had a vision that she wanted a sew. She wanted to design. She wanted to donate. And she found her audience that she's gonna appease to do those things. To get them done. But guess what? She stayed focused to what she wanted to do. She made the vision come alive. She developed strings and things as you see it going across. If y'all have any questions, comments for her, send to strings and things at outlook.com. So you'll be able to, get some answers. She'll respond to you, give you some understanding of what she's doing, what she has available, what can be done, and have that conversation because it's so important in this business that we go ahead and promote. We let folks know that, hey, it's able to be accomplished out there. When I met Charlene at the SBA at DSU, it was a wonderful opportunity. I met a lot of folks there that really stepped out on faith, did what their calling was, and now they develop to see where they're at. They're walking and what they love to do, because
Yeah,
we always do a lot of stuff we don't want to do. We can do
yeah,
stuff that we love to
right,
do. And why not make it our business? Why not
right.
set ourselves up to be very productive for what we're doing out there? And guess what? Have fun with it. Enjoy
Mhm.
it. Find your niche of folks that you want to reach to. She reaches out to the infants, up to 14, that is her niche for it. She's not getting into adults. She's not all over the place, but she's focused on that area of folks we have. I'm so excited for her that she
Thank
took
you.
that chance. She went out there. She's been consistent with it since 2022. Is that correct? You started your business?
Yeah,
2022, and she's still moving forward but guess what, it comes a time that we have to make these changes. We have to go out here and really believe in what we're doing,
right,
continue to press on. I stepped out. I came out with creative financing with JB. I want to make affordable housing for folks. I want folks to be able to know that it's able to own homes, investment property, commercial property.
right,
Everybody has that opportunity, but the question
right.
is, do we have fortitude? Do we have the motivation? Do we
It's a good
have
word, fortitude.
know-how and the hard work for it and stuff, And Charlene, you probably can say it's many times you could have gave up, but you just kept pressing
Yeah.
on
Hmm.
to keep going. And as she said, she goes to events. She makes herself known out there. Folks, I'm inspiring. I'm encouraged to let all of y'all know right now that don't give up on your dreams. Keep pressing forward for that next step, because guess
Right,
what? When it happens, it's going to be something you have to tell. You have to tell your story, just like Charlene told her story. She was out there and she just decided, hey, this is my time. this is my calling. And guess what?
Right.
She prayed on it. She moved forward and she got it done. I'm excited. Charlene, Strings and Things is
Thank
here
you. I'm
forever.
excited too.
It's here forever. Do you have anything for our audience to say before we get off the air or anything?
Well, I just want to say, you can shoot me out an email. I don't want to just give out my number and then people are calling me. I don't know who's calling me, but you can shoot me an email and I'll know who you are then, and I'll give you my number like that, and we can talk. Um,
Do you have
but
social?
yes, I have Facebook.
Okay, for it and stuff. And is it Strings and
Yeah,
Things on Facebook?
yeah, it's actually two different ones because let me tell you the story. So one day, after I made some bed sheets for a baby, right? Um, I went online and I uh, I put up the pictures and I put the price next to the pictures. And then so soon I was told, oh, you're doing this, you're misrepresenting yourself. And what they say? They said they said we're gonna close your business account. I was like, for what? And when I went to DSU, she's the woman there. Oh, yeah, that could have been why they shut it down because you put the prices there on. What you were supposed to do is please ask for, price. And I was okay. That makes sense. So I have another page, and this one is coming up. Um, I got away from making it. Let me see. What's it called? It is called. Okay, it is called. Oh, come on. Okay, the name of it is still Strings and Things, but the first one was Strings and Things LLC. This
Mm-hmm.
one is Strings and Things Babies Clothing.
Wow. So Strings and Things, babies clothing. So get online, reach out, look at some of her posts or what she's posting out there, folks. It's an awesome time for entrepreneurs to step out here on faith to make it happen, get it done, and make it a reality in your life. Folks,
Right.
it's another wonderful Tuesday.
And I have an Instagram account too.
And she has an
I have
Instagram.
I
What's your
have I have him I have him connected. I think it's let me see what it is. Oh,
for it? So,
it
so
might be the same name, but let me see.
for it and stuff. So she's connecting her businesses together for it, so she can build her avenue of followers, clients, customers. But it's so important that we take those steps to get to the next step of where we need to be, what we need to do, and how we need to do it. Folks, it's been a wonderful evening but we have another entrepreneur in the making right now. We 3 years strong with Miss
Ah,
Charlene.
I
I
don't
want to
know.
I want to thank Miss Charlene. I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank
And
you.
we're gonna pass it on. This creative finance for JB, finding the best economical, affordable housing available for you and providing you with resources that go beyond. Until next week, we thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see y'all again. Y'all have a good night.